What is going on, guys? Brianna here with another training video, and we've barely scratched the surface regarding all of the detailed in-depth training that's going to be coming up in the next few weeks. But for now, we're going to focus on important dispatching concepts and beliefs. Let's talk about how the tallest buildings are always built on the strongest foundations. Let's talk about the foundation of dispatching, because these concepts and beliefs in week one, they're going to be your foundation. So with that being said, you should have seen 2 or 3 training videos already where I explained how dispatching works and how much money you can make doing it. Going into this training video, you should have full confidence that people can make a lot of money dispatching trucks, even if you think I somehow just got really lucky to have a successful dispatching business, which is kind of fair, because there's always luck involved when starting a business. I hope in the first 2 or 3 training videos of week one, I was able to show you guys with very simple math and real data just how lucrative this industry can be. However, what I really haven't talked about is why you should think many more dispatchers aren't successful in this industry. Because if you honestly think about it, there are thousands of dispatch alternatives. There are thousands of dispatchers in the industry, and they're all competing for the same carriers as you. So let me ask, what makes you think that you're any different than what the market is already doing? In other words, how are you going to find success in this saturated dispatch market with thousands of competitors out there? This is an extremely important question, and you guys should be asking yourself this right now. Start with yourself, start with your network. Successful people hang out with successful people. Happy people have happy friends. Productive people have a productive network. So you have to ask yourself, how will I find success in a saturated market? It does not matter if there are a million dispatchers competing against you. You will always have a competitive advantage, and you will always have a way to make money. And that's the question I'm going to help you guys answer with this video. So let's jump right in. Let's talk about this word for a second, saturation. I personally love saturated markets. Saturation to me equals money, equals proof of a highly profitable market, a great idea. So because these markets have rules, the first and most important rule being that niches never saturate. Only offers and positions do. Offers can saturate, positions can saturate, but a niche can never saturate. For a niche or market to become truly saturated, what it would mean is that everyone in that niche or everyone in that market instantly has their problem solved overnight. I always like to say the riches are in the niches, and niches never saturate. So let's talk about it. If we look at the dispatching niche, there are currently over 4 million semi-trucks on the road right now. For the dispatching niche to become truly saturated, what would have to happen is that you would wake up by tomorrow morning, and every single truck that's on the road does not need to find a higher paying load on the spot market, and they're not sitting for long periods of time. And in reality, that's just not going to happen. And as long as there's demand, supply becomes necessary. And what that means is, going back to the point I was making before, niches don't saturate, offers and positions do. So what does this mean? What does this mean? What is an offer? What is a position? Let me start by explaining what an offer is. And I learned from one of the best, Alex Hormozy. He defines an offer as the services you agree to provide, how you accept payment, and the terms of agreement. Now, this is pretty simple. The offer is what essentially begins the process of getting customers, attracting clients, and making money in what's best for them. The first thing that any new customer will interact with in your business is your offer. And since the offer is what attracts new clients, it's also what helps you position your service or business in front of them. Now, positioning, on the other hand, that's just a scale of contrast between you and your competitors. So what that means is, if you have one dispatcher here on the left and another here on the right, these two dispatchers are being positioned against each other in the same market based on their offer. Carriers and owner-operators will contrast and compare these two dispatchers against each other constantly. And this is why saturation is so incredible. If you're still confused, don't worry. I'm going to explain it all in more detail in a second. So let's just say, for example, this circle right here that I've drawn, this is the dispatching market. It's the total dispatch market. And all these little red dots in here, they're your competitors. Now, here's the wonderful thing about human nature, especially in the industry of dispatching. We operate in a very monkey see, monkey do world. And what that means is 99% of dispatching companies, they really just want to copy everyone else. Nobody wants to think critically or implement new strategies. Everyone's insecure about their own abilities to make money in this industry. So they just look to authority figures and copy and paste what they're doing. And what this means is that when you look at the entire market with all of the competitors in it, what you need to understand is that most people you're competing against are actually garbage at what they do. They can't solve their customers' problems. They can't help the carriers that they're in contact with, which is why they've always been struggling in business and why they haven't grown. And most of your competitors aren't actually your competitors. In reality, they're just placeholders. They're just placeholders. And again, there's 100 dispatching companies that will come out in a year. 99 of them will be replaced by new ones the very next year. And I'm not trying to be mean. It's just the truth. When I honestly look at the dispatching industry, I look at our competitors and what they're offering trucking companies to make them more money. And it makes me happy knowing that they're behind the bandwagon, knowing how little effort that they're putting into their carriers and how little effort it would take me to take their clients. Because honestly, what they're providing isn't valuable. And after you've gone through this program, after you've graduated, after you've implemented everything that I teach you, you will feel the exact same way. Now, right now, I understand that you might be feeling scared, but in a few weeks' time, when you look at the competition around you and you look at your market, you're going to realize that most of these dispatchers are going against, they won't even be able to compete with you. And the ones that can, they're not even going to be making up more than 10% of the market anyways. So there is a ton of money to go around if you know how to dispatch, if you know how to get clients, if you know how to fulfill, which is exactly what you're going to be learning here, then you will be successful. Now, this brings me to positioning. The more people that enter a market and start doing the exact same thing, the better it is going to be for you. And let me explain why. So essentially, you want more people to flood the dispatching market. You want there to be as much competition as possible because, again, 99% of your competitors, they're all going to be doing the same thing, really just copying each other. They're all going to have the same offer, the same messaging, the same copy, the same sales script, the same payment structure, the same delivery process. They're all going to be clones of each other. And again, guys, because of human nature, any new dispatching company that joins this market, they have a huge bias to overcome before they can even start competing. And a lot of the times, they're just joining the status quo, right? These new dispatchers, when they come into the market nowadays, they're joining the status quo. And what happens is a carrier or owner operator, they'll look at your niche and they'll try to find someone that can solve their problem. And all they see is a market of red flags, just a market of clones offering the exact same thing as everyone else. And all you have to do as a new dispatcher is come along and change your color, change your offer, position yourself in a different way, have a different outreach method, a different guarantee, a different onboarding process. And here's the best part. The bigger this ball of clones gets, the smaller the changes that you have to make for you to stand out in this industry. Now think about it. If you're not trying to join the status quo, right? All of these red dots, they're just joining the status quo. But you as a new dispatcher, you're coming in. And even if you were gray in the sea of red dots and you did 99% of what every other dispatcher is doing, but you change 2 or 3 things, you would stand out like a sore thumb, right? And even if the changes that you're making are very, very little, unfortunately, what happens over time is when people see you succeeding, when other dispatchers see you succeeding, they see you doing well, they'll start to copy the small changes that you implement, and they'll want to go from red to gray. They'll want to go from this to that, from one offer to the next. And when that happens, all of these clones will jump on internet forums claiming how dispatching doesn't work, how the niche is saturated, but they'll never blame themselves, you know, because it's always someone else that causes them to feel indifferent. It's funny how that works out, right? What happens is everyone else changes from red to gray. They see what you're doing. They see the changes that you've implemented. They copy you. Now, what you have to do is change your color to something completely different again, right? You want to always be evolving. You want to always be adapting. And this is why I find it really easy to make money in the dispatcher niche, because I always make little adjustments to my offer. And by the time the clones start copying me, I change my offer again and again and again until they're all out of business. I have 30 new carriers. And then people ask me if I'm worried about all this new competition, if I'm worried about the competitors I'll have in this program. And I'm here to say no, because all of the different graduates are going to be made up of all of these different colors, all the different sizes. It's going to be an ocean of like-minded industry leaders that will not have to compete directly against each other, because you will have a successful customer base on your own. And again, even if we are competing against each other, it'll make up maybe 10% at most of the entire dispatch market. So there is a lot of money to be made in the industry. We can all have a big slice of that profit pie without having to compete directly with each other. So to summarize, guys, the dispatching industry has the potential to make a lot of money. And you may not know how much money you're initially going to make, but as a truck dispatcher, by the end of this program, especially by the end of this video, I'm hoping that you learn, that you see 90% of the dispatch companies that you're competing against, they're all going to be copying, pasting off of each other. They will never be skilled enough to compete against you after you graduate from this program. And the ones that are, they're only going to make up about 10% of the total market. That means you still have 3.6 million trucks to potentially dispatch. And again, this will all be possible because you took this program seriously. You implemented everything you learned from Dispatch Master University. And I mean it when I say I have everything right in front of you in this program. This training is all you need to learn dispatching and start a six-figure business in this industry. All I need you to do is to take this opportunity seriously. And not just make a promise with me and the other students in the group, but also make a promise to yourself. Make a promise that you're going to put in 110% of your effort and focus into this course. You'll stop trying to do all these little side hustles that aren't really creating any income for you, and you're going to put all of your energy into this program. So with that being said, guys, head over to the next training video and I'll show you what it actually takes to become a dispatch success story, and the 3 things that you guys need to know that may stop you from getting there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next training.